Have you ever looked at a Texas farm and ranch contract and felt completely overwhelmed? It's packed with legal jargon and tiny details that can feel like a maze. But don't worry, because I'm here to guide you through it. In the last video, we talked about closing costs and what they are and how to plan for them. Now let's break down the Texas farm and ranch contract step by step so you know exactly how to structure and submit your offer. Mastering this process not only protects your investment, but also gives you a competitive edge when negotiating. But here's a quick question for you. What's the first thing you think should go into an offer for land? Drop them in the comments and we'll see if you're right. At the end of this video, I'll tell you the answer and why it's so important. Okay, let's start with the basics, the foundation of the farm and ranch contract. The Texas farm and ranch contract is specifically designed for transactions involving farms or ranches of any size. If you want to find these contracts for free, simply go to trec.texas.gov, scroll down until you find the forms, and look for a handshake icon labeled contracts. Clicking that will take you to the Texas real estate contracts, addendums, and other forms. These contracts are promulgated by the Texas real estate attorneys, and they outline who is responsible for specific items. The first part of the contract focuses on the buyer and the seller. It's important to make sure their names are spelled correctly and match what's on official documents. Little mistakes here can cause unnecessary delays when it gets close to signing day, and it may even push back the closing day a couple of days. Next is the property section, which is critical to get right. This section requires the county name, the legal description of the property, and the physical address. A physical address can sometimes be misleading, especially in rural areas where properties might not have clear markers. The legal description, however, removes all that ambiguity and ensures there's no confusion about the exact property that is being sold. You can find this information by looking up the property in public tax records, typically available on any county appraisal district website. Just search using the property's address or the tax ID number. The legal description often includes details like the subdivision name, the lot and block number, or meets and bounds descriptions for larger parcels. Finally, the contract defines what's in the sale. This could be the land itself, any improvements like barns and fences, and even accessories for cattle troughs or game feeders. For example, if the seller plans to keep a hunting blind or some cattle feeders, that must specifically be in the contract to avoid confusion later. Now let's get into the details of how to structure your offer. When you're writing an offer, the first thing you'll include is the purchase price. This section also outlines how you're paying, whether it's cash or financing, or a combination of the two. If you're financing, the contract might require an addendum to clarify the type of loan and terms. That addendum is called the third-party financing addendum, and you can find it for free on the TREC website. Next, you'll include earnest money and the option fee. Now listen up, earnest money is like a deposit. It shows the seller you're serious, you're earnest about buying the property. This money is held in escrow until closing day and is usually around 1 to 3% of the purchase price. And this will be applied to the closing costs when the transaction funds. Now the option fee, on the other hand, gives you the unrestricted right to terminate the contract during the feasibility period, or more commonly known as the option period. Typically 45 to 90 days is appropriate. Think of the option fee as your ticket to fully investigate the property without committing 100% of your funds. This is usually a non-refundable fee, and for my brokerage, we usually require $5,000 for every 30 days. You want the option to back out of the property. Now understand, as someone who is marketing the property like myself, 45 to 90 days is a lot of time that I am required by the state of Texas to take the property off the market. So as an agent, I want to be sure that you are serious about buying this property. This small upfront cost can save you thousands down the line if any issues arise that doesn't necessarily meet your needs for that property. You'll also propose a closing date. This is the day when everything becomes official. In most cases, closing happens between 30 to 45 days depending on your financing and after the feasibility period. But it depends on the situation. If you're unsure about how to time your closing dates with the feasibility period, you can work closely with an agent. You can contact me directly or the title company to make sure everything lines up. To avoid any issues, you can drop a comment below or contact me directly. My information is right there and in the description below. Now let's talk about contingencies. These are safety nets in your offer. offer. They allow you to back out of the contract or renegotiate if certain conditions aren't met. One big contingency is tied to the survey and the title policy. If the property doesn't already have a current survey, the contract will outline whether the buyer or the seller is responsible for providing a new one. Without a current survey, you might discover boundaries, disputes, or encroachments after closing. This issue can be costly and time-consuming to resolve. The title policy ensures you're getting clean ownership, meaning there are no unexpected liens or disputes that could impact your purchase. If you're financing, you'll likely include a financing contingency. This protects you if your loan doesn't get approved, allowing you to walk away without losing your earnest money, and this will be in the third-party financing addendum, and that clause is stated in the addendum. Another key protection is the option period. During this time, and listen up, you can complete inspections, review the title report, or even consult with an attorney if you have questions about things like mineral rights or flood zones. This is your chance to uncover any potential red flags and make sure your property meets your needs. It's also a great time to talk to neighbors or local officials about the property. They can provide insights into things like water flow, soil conditions, or historical property uses that might not show up in formal inspections. So understanding the farm and ranch contract is key to making a strong and secure offer. Taking the time to structure it correctly ensures you're protected and increases the likelihood of a smooth transaction. Now, all that is left to do is present the contract to the listing agent or the seller and test out your negotiating skills. Now, earlier I asked you what the first thing you think should go into an offer for land is, and the answer is the legal description. Without a legal description, you do not have a binding contract. Even if you have initials and signatures from both parties, your contract is not binding and is not legal. So it is that important that you get it right. I'm Trent Babb, your Central Texas real estate agent, and if you have any questions about any part of this contract or any of the videos in this series, or if you've had any challenges when submitting offers, drop them in the comments. Your experiences help others and inspire future videos from me. If you'd like me to provide an even more in-depth guide to the Texas Farm and Ranch contract, let me know in the comments as well so that I can continue to provide even more value to you. And we have finally reached the end of this 10-part video series on buying land in Texas. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any more educational videos. Next, I'll start you on one of the most important steps in buying land if you haven't been keeping up with these videos, and that is understanding your local market. For instance, knowing local trends can help you identify undervalued properties or areas poised for growth. But that's all for this video and this series on how to buy land in Texas. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.